Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! I think oftentimes as content creators on YouTube, we try to put into words how we feel about a friendship such as Freya Sky and Malachi Burton. And I think this is the best way to describe it for you guys, because many people who try to do this or have attempted to try to do this over the last number of years have never been able to put into words how they truly feel about it. But I think this is the best way to describe it. There are three types of people in this world. People who have a best friend, people who want a best friend, and people who want somebody to love them for forever. And that's what you see in the friendship of Freya Sky and Malachi Burton. Something I give them a profound amount of praise for, and I will continue to do for the rest of my life. I love these guys so much because of how they proudly represent each other, how they're so proud of each other, how they're there for each other every step of the way. They're calling each other all the time. They are experiencing some of the happiest times of their lives in their professional careers, and they've exemplified so much professionalism towards each other. And that is the best way to describe this. I know many people have subscribed to this YouTube channel for how supportive I've been of Freya and Malachi's friendship. And I will continue to, despite all the rumors and all the controversy we've heard involving Kylie Cantrell, I will continue to support them until the day that I die. And I will go down in history for being the greatest content creator of all time for Descendants and Zombies videos if it's the last thing that I do. Out of love and support for them, and out of love and support for all of you. Because many of you have been with me from the very first video that was ever uploaded here, and I just wanted to simply give you the best. I wanted to be that one guy that would come through every single time with something really nice to say about Freya and Malachi's contributions to their respective franchises. And it's been so fun being a part of this and having the chance to experience this while sharing with you my story. A story I never imagined would be so well received, nor responded to the way that it has. And this YouTube channel going on to become everybody's favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel that has ever been created for how I've been able to tell this story in such an effective way. In such a powerful way that has really brought this story to life. These franchises have been brought to life not only because of how passionate I felt about them and the stories I've shared with you guys, but how you felt about it, how Descendants of Zombies makes you feel, because every fan of Descendants of Zombies has been made to feel a different way. But also every fan of Descendants of Zombies, even though they've been made to feel a different way about their favorite characters and their respective stories, where they come from, what they're all about, we've remained loyal to these franchises for forever with a favorite character we may have had, a favorite story that we relate to that often relates to something happening around us. I know that Freya Sky writes a lot of really relatable content for her music and her lyrics. It's seen and found in her lyrics for her music videos, like a song like Silent Treatment. I was actually at the mall the other day, and from out of nowhere on the speaker system, Freya Sky Silent Treatment starts playing. And the first people I think about are all of you for how supportive you've been of this channel. Not only of me, but how supportive you've been of Freya, because you believed in her from the very first moment you saw her. You knew she was going to be something special, and you are the reason, the story behind her success. You know, years from now, what I hope for these stars is the heights of unprecedentedness in terms of writing memoirs and books, to have the chance to tell their story in a way they've never had the chance to have their story told, and to be seen and heard by more people than ever before in doc-series. There are so many opportunities for these stars to seize, and I just wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to create videos that would relate to people in some of the most relatable content you had ever watched, because when you wanted to believe in something, I think Zombies 5 gave us something to really believe in and really cherish, and I had the chance to share in that with all of you, because I was saying forever that Zombies 5 was coming in 2027, Descendants 5 was going to happen regardless of how critics were making you guys feel about it, which was totally unnecessary. And I just had ever only one hope, and that only ever hope that I had was that somebody was going to subscribe to me by finding my thumbnail and clicking on it and watching my video from beginning to end. And many of you have. At least 75 to 80% of the audience do watch these videos from beginning to end for how I've told this story, for how magical I believed it was. How I always believed that if there were two people on a magic carpet, it would have to be Freya Sky and Malachi Burton, and they would take that carpet as far up into the stars as possible and probably never ever come back down. Because when you think about a Romeo and Juliet type story, this has got to be the Romeo and Juliet story that comes to mind. You know, how they, stay in love for forever and always and die together. I think if there are two people that you think about dying together and spending the rest of their lives together, it would have to be Freya and Malachi for how supportive they've been of each other, although they have never been in a real life relationship. And there have been a lot of rumors surrounding it, I know. And I totally get that. But when you think about two people that would have a chance of spending the rest of their lives together, it would have to be them. Because we've drawn so much inspiration from their story. We believed in it more than ever before with all of our hearts. And that's what draws fans into the Zombies franchise. That's what drew you into the Zed and Aniston's love story, was just how passionate they felt about each other, both in real life and on the camera. Because it wasn't just a story in front of the camera, it was a story behind the camera. When the lights went down and the filming was, finished, they were still the best of friends and the biggest supporters of each other in real life. And they spent time where they lived together, they got to know each other better, and a mutual understanding was reached. And it brought us to this pivotal point of realization where if we thought of ourselves in a relationship and spending our lives with somebody for the rest of our lives and the rest of our existence, it would have to be something similar to Zed and Aniston's story. Because I know many people who watched this who just wished they could have been involved in a relationship something similar or along the lines of these relationships that we see played out in these Disney movies such as Descendants and Zombies, because they're so powerfully represented and these people believe in each other so much. I can remember times when Meg Donnelly never ever thought she was good enough, and I remember how Mila Manheim was forever supportive of her. And I can also remember many years later when Freya Skye was in doubt of her ability, and somebody like Malachi Burton was always there for her. And I remember that's what made me so supportive of them, were how they were there for each other every step of the way, because no matter who we are, we've always had that one best friend who we call every night and we tell everything to, because we trust them. Trust is very valuable and extremely rare. It's never really seen a whole lot. It's never really seen often in this lifetime. So I think that when we have that one best friend, we, get close to them and we tell them everything because we have that trust, because trust is really a commodity. It's really precious. And I think when we see that in somebody who we've been friends with our entire life, we tell them everything. And I think that's what we see in Freya and Malachi's friendship, is just how loyal they are to each other. No matter who comes in and out of their lives, what relationships they may be involved in Malachi and Kylie's case, the thing is, they are really supportive of each other. And I think that's what really draws us to them. And that's what makes us so excited to be a part of their future. I have never felt more honored to be a part of something so special and so spectacular. It truly blows my mind how all of you are so supportive of them. So I wanted to be supportive of them too. And I wanted to give you guys hope for their future. That had everything to do with the Zombies 5, the chances of mermaids, the potential of mermaids finding their way into the story for the first time ever. I wanted to discuss trolls and goblins and witches and everything else thrown in there, because that's what you believed. And I always believed that whatever you believed in for the Zombies franchise should find time in being appreciated and encouraged by more than just me. Every commentator who has ever opened their mouth about Descendants of Zombies should appreciate each and every one of you. They never seem to take the time to understand that. Because once you have the understanding of the fans of Descendants of Zombies and what they live for, what they live and breathe for and die by, which is pretty much Descendants of Zombies and their loyalty to it, until you grasp the concept of how there's always that one girl out there who loves it so much with all of her heart that she doesn't care what critics have to say. She just wants to watch somebody who's just as nice as what she is and feels as passionately as what she does, just to hear something nice about the future of this franchise. So she never has to say goodbye. She never has to let go. And that's what's made this so special for me. Having the chance to create such relatable content and having just one chance. If I ever had one chance of doing anything, it would have had to have been to touch each and every one of your hearts through sharing this story with all of you about how I became a fan of Descendants of Zombies, and I believed in it with all of my heart, because I really did. If there was ever anything I wanted to take a chance on, it was believing that mermaids were real, and witches could have a chance of finding their way into this franchise along with sirens and werewolves and aliens, what have you. I loved every moment of it. I know they shot Zombies 2 during the pandemic under the most difficult of circumstances, but they did the best they could, and they really came through with it. And they gave us something special to believe in, which led to a guy who suffers from an itchy nose every night, recording videos about Descendants of Zombies and sharing his feelings with the world. Feelings that he never imagined would be seen and have such an incredible reach by so many wonderful people who truly came together and created something special for everybody, who believed in this cast with all of his heart and believed in this story emphatically with all of his heart, because if there was one thing to believe in this lifetime, it would have had to have been Descendants of Zombies for me, because it gave me so much of a chance. A wonderful chance and a wonderful experience with each and every one of you that I got to share in as the voice of this podcast and the voice of Descendants of Zombies, one of the most recognizable voices ever to be seen or heard in the history of these franchises. Because when it comes to music and duets, Freya Skye and Malachi Burton have struck a chord. and they've really touched a soft place in all of our hearts that they will continue to remain within for forever in the annals of time and be a part of history. Because what we are setting ourselves up for is the chance to be a part of history, and I just want to know who's coming with me. Because I'm going to be here every step of the way. I'm going to be here to say something nice always and forever about your favorite stars. It's a solemn commitment that I've made to each and every one of you. It's not just about creating content. It's about making promises, following through with those promises that include commitments. And when you come through with a commitment that, say, for example, is going to be upload a video about Descendants of Zombies for the rest of your life, which is a really long time for all of you, I get that. But if you give me a chance, I promise you that you will realize that that commitment means more to me than words could ever say. Just to have the chance to be a part of all of your lives as your voice of Descendants of Zombies, I perceived as an honor, and it's a chance I've taken, because the thing is, I never knew if Descendants of Zombies was going to blow up the way that it did, but it did. And because it blew up the way that it did, it had everything to do with how much you believe in your favorite characters and their stories. Because every character has a story. The character just doesn't show up without a story or any kind of backdrop of info for us to have the chance to get to know them. What it comes down to is how much we believe in these characters with all of our hearts and their stories. Because you can't have one person just telling a story. You've got to have two, maybe three, because of a friendship or a love story that is so beautiful, more beautiful than words could ever say. And I've had the chance to experience that with so many wonderful people. And that's what made this really a life-changing experience for me. It turned my life around, because my life really wasn't going the best. And then all of a sudden, Descendants of Zombies just kind of happens for me. I move into this house near a supplementation and chemical plant, conveniently enough, after my life wasn't really, going the best for me. And then you guys happen, and you present me with so much of a chance to get to know you. You give me so much of a chance to tell my story about how I love Descendants of Zombies, both the OG cast and the new cast of the franchises, how the torch was passed in 2025 was beautifully done. And I think what it's setting ourselves up for is the chance to be a part of something so emphatic, something that's going to allow us to have our story seen and heard by far more people than we ever imagined possible. And I think that's the dream of every content creator, no matter if they choose to admit to it or not, is just, being a part of something special. I gotta be honest with you guys, I love the music, I love the story, I love the cast, I love the characters, I loved everything about Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires. And if there was anybody who was going to say anything nice at all about it, it was going to have to be Jonathan Clarke. And because Jonathan Clarke was the one and only guy who ever said anything nice about Descendants of Zombies, because most of these reviews are done by girls who are just like all of you who love Descendants of Zombies so much, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but you guys have always deserved a dedicated guy and a dedicated voice to talk about Descendants of Zombies, who knows that he loves it just as much as what you do, who was into it just as much as what you did, and was going to break down this franchise and forever analyze it the way that it was meant to be talked about and profiled for what felt like forever, because you guys were crying out for a podcast that Disney never seemed to listen to you and give you. And I think that, lo and behold, this YouTube channel, that was one of the biggest reasons why this YouTube channel went on to become everybody's favorite, for how I could tell this story through relatable content and relatable stories and have a chance of just bringing it to life, even if it was only once. I had a chance of bringing it to life. I took a gamble on Descendants of Zombies, and lo and behold, I struck gold. And I've been a part of this amazing franchise, this incredible experience for forever, and I will never, ever forget any of you. I just want you all to know that. You guys will forever and always hold a very special place in my heart. You have forever meant so much to me. And if there was one place in the world I could be tonight, it would be right here, encouraging you that there is a future that has everything to do with Freya and Malachi's story. Has everything to do with all of us, because we are all going to be a part of it, and Zombies 5 is going to happen. We may not know when Zombies 5 is coming out. All we know is it's going to happen in sometime in 2027, which I know is forever away, which only means that Jonathan Clarke is going to have to sit right here every night for the rest of his life as the sun sets behind him and create Descendants of Zombies videos for all of you who are undeniably crazy and forever passionate about Descendants of Zombies. I get that. Descendants of Zombies or die. It's stay calm, zombie on all the way. And I would love to stay calm and zombie on into that future with all of you, if you guys are cool with it. You guys are cool with it, right? You're cool with Jonathan Clarke remaining to be the voice of Descendants of Zombies, that one little bit of consistency that you guys have always seemed to have ever since you first discovered about the power of this YouTube channel and its emphatic message that brought us all closer together and gave us something really special to believe in, which has everything to do with the futures of Malachi Burton and Freya Sky, so special to be a part of, and I felt so honored to experience this story with all of you. Thank you so much for choosing this YouTube channel channel time and time again, time after time, through the years, through the decades, through the centuries, even if you would, if I could be a dear to take a couple of centuries from you. Thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time, and making me your favorite voice of Descendants of Zombies, because I never imagined I would have had the honor, the profound honor at that, of having lent my voice to the soundtrack of Descendants of Zombies. Thank you so much for enjoying these videos and watching them all the way through, and being with me from the very first video that was ever uploaded here, because it became the greatest honor and the most fun that I've had in my entire existence. Thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel as we take this one out, and thank you as always for having watched this video.